Well, that being said, that being the complaints in the last couple little videos about the Sprout camera not having the dynamic range in a modern context, and I think honestly the stability, I think it's showing its age, and I don't know the driver ecosystem, and it may be in the hardware, but the stability seems to be going. Now I could stop and work on that part of these recordings uh, to make a better product, and I do intend to do that. Any criticism is fully welcome from that, but it would be antithetical for I think this uh, exploration I'm doing to stop the activities like getting the WinMax 2 up, waiting for another tool to work or to arrive. And because again, this is all about really me using these tools for living to live a better life. So uh, having a substandard option, substandard, uh, not the flashiest, who knows? Not having the best option um, shouldn't stop me. This is at least functional. I did change the lighting a little bit. Hopefully that will help with this. But we're going to continue on. It's just it's not that big of a deal. I mean, your criticisms are certainly welcome uh, and completely valid. And in the modern YouTube ecosystem in the sphere, the attention sphere, there's highly professionally produced videos, and uh, so I understand that this may not be the best use of your time, and I fully agree. If you want to move on and look at somebody else, by all means, do. Um, I'm just going to offer what I can, and I don't mean to do it in a flippant fashion. But I'm just going to continue with the equipment I've got and slowly work and improve and my techniques. Part of this is learning uh, the new communication, which is videography and so forth. And it does have some advantages, and the written word also has some advantages and whatnot. And it is funny. I think people often say traditional like the written word, but the spoken word predates the written word. Um, but text has a very I think has a good tool as well. So um, it's another tool for living is reading and writing. But I digress. I am going to glove up, and the big reason for that is simply um, it's brand spanking new, and um, I want to make sure. Let me make sure I don't want to get any powder. These are actually do have powder, which is yes, gotta want to make sure you do that. It's brand spanking new, and I don't want to get fingerprints and so forth on the screen. I have cowboy screen protectors and things that way, where I have uh, done it barehanded, and sure enough, I'll get something on the screen. I've got a friend who's refinishing his drums right now, and he's he's got a bit of a beard, and just get a food service beard cover and stuff. Um, all right, well, let's take a look. I will probably be pausing the video. Pretty standard. I'm not doing a big unboxing here, uh, but I figure I might as well open it up with you guys just as. A matter of ceremony or just kind of in the interest of a full walkthrough, I suppose. And we've got our little instruction book here, which is going to be, uh, you know, not particularly useful, but is what it is. Um, it's got the parts layout and whatnot, so that's still, I think, reasonable to have. Um, the power supply, the power brick. This is a beast of a power brick. And one thing about I got this, I've mentioned it before when I got the first the first one, uh, is that I one thing I was really looking for was something that could be USB, I guess PD power distribution charged, so I wouldn't have to carry around a massive brick, which I've had to do with laptops before. And this comes in at what is it? I think about 100 watts, something like that. Let's see here. Having a little trouble reading 100 watts max. Yeah, I am wearing different glasses right now. and it's got the one port. Honestly, you can get these and you can get a different size, but this is 128 watts and it's got PGQC and um, a USB-A there. So I kind of prefer that. I do prefer that, for traveling. There's a couple different sizes. That's one thing. Maybe I'll look at that. I've recently, seems like every few years, uh, have to go through and take care of some of the chargers. The cable looks pretty good. Um, and then the device. Now, I chose this device um, because of the form factor. Do you remember if anyone remembers the old triple E computers that were um, what do you used to call those things? Um, web books, I think. They were lower powered computers, but they were in about this form factor, about 10.1, uh, and they were designed, I think, for travel and convenience and to be a bit of a tiny thing. It's a little bit of lint, so we're going to take care of that in a little bit. Um, But, I've found, I've tried the 8-inch formats before, like the P8 style computers. In fact, actually had a GPD, Gen 1 of the Pocket. I think it was a Gen 1, but, had the little point stick, which I didn't mind, especially with the touchscreen. Excuse me, but, I do find it too cramped, and I find this to be about right. When I start getting into the 11 and 12, like when I start getting any larger than this format, it's not quite as tuckable. I'm not too worried about thickness, believe it or not, but I also wanted the power this time. So I did get, uh, I did get one that's pretty juiced. I am going to try to use this as my primary. Um, Up until this point, I've usually used tough books, but I'm not as active in the field as much anymore, so I don't think I need that. I like the things like the hot swap batteries. To be honest, they don't make what I want right now, and that's okay. That's just part of it. Uh, but I do like the form factor. I'm not a gamer. I don't know if I'll find much use for these. They do have a back here, uh, right here, little slide covers that actually go over the game controls, so you can get kind of a cleaner look that way. Now, one thing I did find on my last one is, if you remember, if you'd been following me, my last one did uh, wind up with a problem. This trigger failed and became floppy. I'm not a gamer, as I mentioned. I don't even use that, so I am a little worried about the durability issue. And um, my old GPD Pocket did also uh, bite the dust in the actually on a dive trip, but I was just in a hotel room and I didn't take it to the sand or anything or surf or water. It's just in the hotel room, but it failed. So I am a little concerned with the durability. I did get the insurance. I had it on the my last one as well. Um, so we'll see. But in terms of these covers, one thing I did find, I mentioned with my last one, sorry, but I digress, is that I I did install a tempered glass screen protector right here, what I've got, and I'll be installing that later. But I found that right here, the edges here, the way the hinge closes, it closes uh, really flat. Um, it's not a double jointed hinge, where you get flat to flat. And so what it wound up doing is it's just a simple single pivot hinge. And what it wound up doing is coming down and I think contacting the edge, and it just cracked the screen protector. Um, So the tempered screen protectors might not work out. Now it came in a 2-pack, so I might as well, excuse me, go ahead and use that. Though I do have the soft film screen protectors as well. Uh, so I may go with that. I do like the idea of the tempered glass, just in terms of a sacrificial layer that can take impact energy, kind of like a crash helmet. Where I think the plastic tends to be more. I'm sorry, I'm not sure exactly what the formulation of that is. Um, as a scratch resistant, I think it'll um, distribute the load of something sharp that could scratch. But I don't know how it does so much an impact in these sorts of things. So we'll see, but the screen protector is sacrificial. But if I do end up closing it, it just kind of automatically breaks it. What's really the point there? Um, it's new, and I am going to fire it up just as for a quick test run here. Excuse me, I've got to kind of remember where everything is. The start button is right down here. I'm going to go ahead and charge it up anyway. I'll look at the charge status. And for now, as a full stock setup, I am going to use directly the power brick that came with it. It might get a little hot, so I'd better take that plastic off. Well, it's a plastic. I don't like that, but that's life. It's just still booting up the initial boot up time. Ooh, I wonder about that. Doing that, it's not probably good for it, but it's got to have some durability here. Continue in English. I don't want to do all that. I just want to plug it up and charge it. This did come with Windows 11, of which I am not a fan. Um, it has been annoying. I have it on some other boxes and would love to get rid of it. Oh, it's going through a full setup, which I don't want to do. So on the back, there's a couple of USBs. Uh, go ahead and plug that in. I do get a charge light. It is red. So I will let this sit for a while. I just want to get it fully charged. The thing about a lot of these batteries, unlike the old NiCads, where, excuse me, they did better if you didn't charge them, or excuse me, if you discharged them all the way and then recharged them. So it had a charge memory kind of the other way. Uh, they they work kind of exactly opposite of the new school stuff. Uh, which is to um, wonder if I can get out of this now. I'm on the keyboard setup. English United States. I do use Devor. I do typically type Dvorak. I kind of trained myself over the over COVID to do that. Um, but I am going to let this charge up for a while, and I'll be back. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it. So I'll go into suspended animation while I let this charge. And this is the boring stuff that isn't real prep. So I'll be back in a few moments, or for you, a couple of moments. For me, maybe an hour or two. Okay, well, I'm back. It's actually been a couple of days. Don't worry, this thing wasn't plugged in the whole time. Uh, though with the smart charging, I don't think that matters one way or the other. But uh, so the next phase is really to I'm going to put on the screen protector just to get that while it's nice and clean and new, keep it good. I did want to take a moment though to talk about what I'm doing here. I realize these types of videos get very long. I'm what 14 minutes into this video, and I basically opened it and charged it. And why I'm doing this channel is really to um, sorry, I heard it beeping. That was not a fire. Excuse me, it's not a smoke detector. Something's beeping. I think it might be an air filter or something. Excuse me. Um, excuse me for my thoughts being a little distracted today. But the reason I'm doing this channel, this stuff, I don't know this channel. I'm not a content creator. I guess the core thing I'm looking at. This is something I'm learning as I'm doing this. Is it's again, tools for living, and I'm really trying to do that. I think I've got too much stuff in general. Caught in a consumer culture kind of thing. Looking for utility, looking for identity. Who knows? It's not. Excuse me. It's not where I'm happiest. I think that's the case for most, if not all of us. Um, but Tools are these devices, these things are, I think, also just throwing the baby out with the bathwater isn't the right move because certain things equipment really helps with. So this is really about exploring tools for living, and I hope to do this to actually make it to make things more streamlined. um, these are here to I guess it's a small epiphany, and it's not really an epiphany, or maybe it is. My wife's like, "Oh, the internet's there to facilitate your real life," and I hope to continue that with with these things. It's almost like you hear EDC, everyday carry, and I guess that's what I'm looking at. What the devices I actually use, and I think EDC, I assume, comes from the firearm arm community, concealed carry, and that sort of thing. And I think it's bled on over into knives, which I always kind of tend to refer to them as cunning tools. Um, well, just probably from diving and whatnot is uh, just how I look at them. And that's not to say that and I know that sometimes I've heard EDC be associated with douchebaggery, as that wasn't my term for it. I think that's a negative connotation that it's picked up, and I don't feel that way about people into whatever they're into. But I mean, I get the idea. And, when this becomes part of identity, and that's pattern recognition by William Gibson actually talks a little bit about that. Great book, the Blue Ant trilogy. Um, so I just wanted to take that aside because that's what I'm doing, and in that, I think I'll continue doing this part as a blog, as a vlog. Maybe talk while I'm doing it. But I will endeavor to be produce some videos that are just more concise, that cut to the point, because as you can tell, I ramble on. So I think I'll continue rambling on and put that up separately for anybody that wants to listen to that part about it. But people who just want to hear about the utility, I will endeavor to um, do a little better job with just the facts, ma'am. Jack Webb. Uh, all right, so let's continue on. But since this is a vloggy one, I guess I'll do the vloggy part. So I will be installing next the um, glass uh, screen protector. Now, again, why I'm choosing this, I do have, and that's just because I have a single one left over from the last one, the last GPD that they replaced in warranty. Uh, I also have the plastic kind, the soft plastic kind, which I think is going to use more for scratch protection. Um, but I'll go ahead and use what I got. Might as well. I would prefer if the glass one would work, just so it'd be a sacrificial layer that'll crack if something goes wrong. Uh, so we got our guide stickers and our dust absorber and our wet wipe and our dry wipe. So it's got the pretty standard patch installation kit. But this isn't anything glamorous. But I do want to make sure I get off all the um, all the things first. I am sorry. It's where I live right now is green with pollen. I mean, every surface outside is just covered in green dust. Uh, I don't think I'm particularly allergic, but at this level of irritant, I think everybody's either allergic or just plain like mechanically irritated by that much stuff, which is a drag that it's just out there. Yeah, I need a little more light, I think, for this. Even if it destroys the video quality, I think we should make concessions for doing things well. I'm trying to get a better care of my toys and my tools. Uh, I would like to. I wish I were, and I am attempting to be someone more self-possessed and organized, and That's the man I'd like to be. Is it the man that I am? Not currently, but I'd like to be a little better clean, organized, uh, which I think leads to a certain amount of confidence. At the same time, I get a little rubber squeegee there. Got a little electronics kit that's nice for installations of screen protectors and little wedgies to open things up. It's come in handy. I think at some point we all have to have a little bit of technician in us in the modern world. Uh, but clean, organized, and I think that leads to a certain confidence. Uh, and so a lot of that simplifying, and at the same time, um, and I have organized and gotten things the way I wanted to. I also want to be fault tolerant when I lose a piece of equipment, or it's been replaced, or it's broken, or it's I have to change configuration a little bit to make that not a big issue. That's the fault tolerant part. I think it was a. I want to say it was a Buddhist phrase. At least I learned it from a Buddhist, but I can't say that that's necessarily the case. Is in terms of its origin was make something, a chair, what have you, make it whatever you're working on, um, make it so it doesn't break, and also make it so that when it breaks, you can fix it. Um, he was also an engineer, so it may be a Buddhist engineering. I don't know, Buddhaneering. So there's that. I will um, obsess about this the whole time. If there's a little piece of dander or something, it'll freak me out. But I got to remember the screen protector is sacrificial and replaceable. Aligning these things, they always give you these alignment stickers, and I never seem to get to use those correctly. So again, this is not a, this is certainly not a tutorial because I am not capable of that. Uh, because this is me stumbling about. But oh, who was it that said that? Through our stumblings, the world is perfected. So they don't. Um, a protective film on the back just to keep it clean while you put it down. They don't on the front because you're going to clean that afterwards anyway. And I see now I'm starting to obsess. And there's that. I don't know if anybody else has that, but I remember studying, evaluation, procedures and algorithms like designing a chess program or another program. I remember one time we were working on, we each got assigned a different algorithm for 3D tic tac toe, 4x4. It was a relatively simple problem. And the goal wasn't to make the best one. Each one of us in the class got a different a type of algorithm to do to make, and then we'd fight them. But it was to see how the algorithms worked. But I remember looking at these. Uh, you talk about evaluations procedures and weighting of the various factors, and it always seemed to me like I get the idea of uh, that from an algorithmic design perspective, but it's like, how do we determine the weight? How do we determine the weights? How do we determine what's important? Um, and how do we not obsess about what's not important? And I missed. I missed. I dropped it. I dropped it. Oh, this is where it's though making second passes always seems to be a problem. Now, the good thing about this, I will say, is unlike a lot of laptop type systems, it does not have a camera sort of. It seems a little bit off still, doesn't it? Or do I just let that go? Because I can see it. It does not have a camera sort of inset into the screen itself. It's the cameras down below at the hinge. And I don't think it's possible to see, but you get that nice little growth. I've got a squeegee, which I like to use instead of the finger pressure. Um, but how do we determine what's important? And that seems to go back. It just seems to sometimes push the peanut, with our nose, kick the can down the road. Uh, Sometimes to me. Okay, I got some air bubbles in there, but I didn't. Yeah, I think one thing about making more edited videos. So I got the big circles there. Let's see if I can push those out. That one goes on out. I guess the problem's like pushing this. You just hope to find the edge to the problem and eventually let that disperse into the ambient. There we go. Get out there. And again, I expect this to break, so maybe I shouldn't worry about it too much. That's the thing. It's like I wanna do well and I wanna work well, but do I obsess about details that are not important? I'm all over the board today, guys. But that's part of the process, I guess. I'll say though, you ever notice that when you start working with your hands like this, I start whispering and the periods between my rambly sentences get longer and longer, which I like. I think, it's just it puts you in a different nonverbal space. My dad used to say engineers think in pictures. That was his whole deal. He's always like just draw a figure of it first. Um, he taught me some good stuff. I suppose that's a little bit of an opinion he had, but I think it has some merit. I don't think this is a right or wrong. These are philosophies. But I continue to struggle with who I am. Yeah, so instead of EDC, everyday carry, I'm kind of looking at uh, TFL, tools for living. You know, I'm not looking for empowerment out of these things. I'm looking for utility. Uh, I did not like when I was charging it up. I went ahead and got done with the charging, but then I had to deal with the native Windows 11. So I went ahead and let's see, went ahead and do that, which was just hassle. I am uh, getting real done with Windows. Uh, I don't know. I would like to make the move. It seems like every 2 years, I'm like, damn it, I'm going to move to Linux, and I try for about a week, and then move back because maybe I got a software tool that I have to use or something that's proprietary, or oh, uh, I thought that was a flaw, but it's actually a cloud in the picture. Really bad thing to check it on. Okay, so that looks good. I'm not really seeing any bubbles, so we did that. Uh, but yeah, Windows just annoyed me, and it's like it was the security. It's getting to be too much of another web work of an ecosystem, and I was trying to use for my security. It had decided that I'd logged in somewhere with too many failed attempts of a password, and the security email it had was an email I had, I don't know, over 30 years ago, uh, back when it was a Yahoo mail, back when Yahoo was still viable. Um, and so that was just a hassle. So you probably missed the wonderful hour of me. I don't think a vlog. I don't think me yelling "God damn it" would be make for the best of vlog. Um, so I spared you from that. Okay, so we went ahead and installed the screen protector, uh, uh, and I'm going to install the ports here, the port plugs. Um, So for the main, let's see, the chart, we got, two USB-C ports there. Um, I think they'll both charge, uh, but I do prefer to I'm going to use the little magnetic ones. Make sure that they support your data rate. Uh, and I'm using that as here we got the charge light there, and we got a charge halo there. It comes as a kit with uh, adapters from USB-C to magnetic. You can get them right angle and straight. I got a kit with a few of them. Uh, but I'm using it mainly. It's like it works as a port plug to keep dust out of it. Uh, works as a magnetic breakaway. So if the cable does get caught, it's not going to stress the unit out. Um, because I do hope to use this in the field or at least for travel. Uh, got a little, let's see, here's the headphone jack, port plug. Um, could not find all of the various, let's see, here is a type A plug. It makes me feel a little bit better. As I mentioned before, I used to be, still currently do use Panasonic Tough Book. I really do like them. They're really expensive, so I get old used ones. Like I think my first one was an off military contract. It had a sniper button on it to black it out. Which I don't think the button, it was just labeled differently. I mean, the button still existed on the other units, but it was set up in I think in firmware to just shut down all the lights. Um, the extra USB-C port. I guess I could put mags on that too. I think that's USB-C. It's got to be USB-C. Well, let's get to that in a moment. Let's see here. This looks like an HDMI port, or excuse me, that's a display. Is that it? No, that's HDMI. Um, see, we'll get that in. Now, I have yet to find uh, port covers for SD stuff yet, and that's one of the Octalink for the external GPU. Um, but yeah, I like having the port covers. I realize that, we still have the ventilation, which is substantial. So if anything is going to get in, it's going to get in through that. Uh, but I just still might as well keep the stuff out that I can. Especially that's where you plug and unplug. So that can be a problem. So I haven't found port plugs for that. um, but we'll continue on uh, the journey there. So my next phase is talking about Windows. We were talking about that. Is I am going to put in a excuse me, a second solid state device, solid state excuse me, solid state drive, and I am going to install and set up install Zorin. So I am going to try Linux yet again. Now with Windows 11, it seems like people are defecting and making the move. Um, so we will continue there. Um, and I'm going to go ahead and install it on a second drive, mainly just to keep things really, really, really clean. Uh, that's a bit, but just in terms of the install, I used to back in the day actually have physical swap drives, but I had to do a lot of software quality control and quality assurance and shove it in, and I just put stuff on, just keep it flat, put stuff on drives. At some point there's going to have to obviously do a boot and a bootloader. Um, but that's what I'm gonna have to deal with. Uh, the 4G card, I understand that that's not real effective and doesn't work with AT&T and T and whatnot. So it seems like people are having a lot of compatibility problems yet with that. I'm in stateside. That's a whole nother telecom thing, but I would be great. And I don't. This unfortunately doesn't support on my tough book that I've had a couple of tough books, but the 33 that I had a sorry 31 that I had GPS too and 4G. Maybe it was 3G at the time. Uh, but it was very convenient, and it's funny because our phones have it, so I would hope, I mean, it's GPS, and it would be nice if um, this supported that. This isn't going to be perfect for me. This is a gamer's um, palm top, not even a palm top, but this netbook type of format, Liliputing. If you've ever seen that site, talks about small computing. But I would like to see a rugged version of something in this format. They seem to make the rugged ones really small. Well, either you get the laptops like the Toughbooks, which are essentially luggables. I mean, the thing's huge. I mean, it's heavy, probably 7 pounds. Um, but it's got like a heater on the hard drive bay. And you can take that thing anywhere. And I had the rubberized keyboard on it, which is real stiff to type on, but it was just a solid piece of rubber. It was molded to the keys, but it was kind of like a floor mat for your keys on top. But I think GPD makes a couple that are, just real small for, that's mainly for interfacing with, I think, industrial equipment or doing IT work when you're having to run around and net admin and need an actual PC to do things. We'll see what happens with the convergence with Android and all that. Because it's funny, I mean, that's basically a Linux anyway. Um, and I did notice that the phone, the Google Pixel released there's you had to unlock in a developer mode. I'll cover that in a different thing, but it's has a desktop mode. So maybe these phones will be getting um, to a more of a desktop mode. Anyway, I have already burned 35 minutes of your valuable time, and I really do think your time is valuable. So this is just a ramble. I think I'll cover this. I'll endeavor to cover this same stuff in a more concise format. This is just for me kind of rambling about things. I'm still learning all this, how to communicate over video, and I don't know editing or any of these kinds of things. Uh, but I think it's good for me. It keeps me neuroplastic and learning new things. And this is a journey for me. So I appreciate you coming on this journey with me. And we'll get back to the next session. So thank you very much for listening. And I have so many sub windows open here. Let's see. There we are. Okay. Have a great day.